Well, howdy there, Internet people. Let's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Biden's tweet and what it means. And we're going to talk about a Washington Post article and what that means. And then we're going to kind of circle back around and talk a little bit more about foreign policy and diplomacy and how things work at times. Okay, so if you have no idea what I'm talking about, Joe Biden, from his personal, I guess, account, tweeted something out. It says, Hamas unleashed a terrorist attack because they fear nothing more than Israelis and Palestinians living side by side in peace. To continue down the path of terror, violence, killing, and war is to give Hamas what they seek. We can't do that. There's a whole lot of people who are looking at this and saying, this is great. Biden is finally doing something. He's calling for a ceasefire. And that's how they're reading it. You have a lot of people celebrating that tweet who want a ceasefire. There's also the idea that this is the first time he's done something. A tweet. There's a Washington Post article, and it came out on November 26th. It's called White House Grapples with Internal Divisions on Israel-Gaza. And it details a lot of things. Not too long ago, I said that when this was all over and the books and memoirs finally come out at the end of the administration and all of that, I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. Well, they started now, I think, for a lot of people in this article. So, when Biden went to Israel, his purpose was to calm, let's quote, the Israelis and try to stop the ground offensive. That's what the reporting says. While he was there, he said that the U.S. would not support cutting off fuel, water, electricity, and aid. The foreign policy team, they were apparently successful in deterring Israel from launching a full-scale operation against a group in Lebanon as well. If that had happened early on when tensions were still incredibly high worldwide, that would have caused it to spread. That would have caused it to spread. That would have probably been the spark for that regional conflict. And on the channel, that's how I've described it. Spreading, widening, regional conflict. According to the article, they had, different terminology in the White House. More along the lines of, come on, Jack, I'm trying to stop World War III here. The U.S. adopted what they're calling a bear hug form of diplomacy. And that's basically saying, we support you so much, and holding them so tight that, well, they can't swing. Trying to calm things down. These activities go back to mid-October that are detailed in this. Okay. So, the way people reacted to this tweet made me realize something. People expect Trump. People expect what Trump did when it comes to interacting with foreign countries and making statements like that. Reminder, Trump was absolutely horrible at foreign policy. One of the largest complaints you will see on this channel from back then is that he telegraphed everything he did on Twitter. It is not normal for foreign policy teams to do that. This tweet that Biden put out, if you want a ceasefire, this is bad news, actually. The U.S. diplomatic teams, they have been working, trying to keep the pause in effect. They've been putting a lot of pressure on keeping other countries out of it, trying to stop it from turning into a regional conflict. You didn't get tweets about it. This, if I had to read this and try to guess what it meant, my guess is that the White House has been informed that Israel has absolutely no interest in establishing a peace framework right now. So rather than the bear hug approach, that they're making statements in public now, hoping that that will influence people. If you want a ceasefire, the tweet's actually bad. It would be better if he wasn't saying anything. Something changed for this to go out. There's going to be a shift in U.S. politics and U.S. policy when it comes to Israel. But this is not part of that. If you look at it, this is very much something that's still about Israel. We're in this together. We can't do that. It's still that type of diplomacy, but it's had to go public now. It's not good news. Please remember that despite the habits of the previous president, tweeting out foreign policy decisions and what we're going to do and all of that stuff, that's bad. And most presidents in other countries don't do it. In fact, that may be the best way to do it. What foreign leaders that are well known have social media presences like that? Kadyrov, none of them are good at foreign policy. Let's just leave it at that. They're ego people. It is worth noting that that Washington Post article said that at some point during a meeting, people said, hey, you're going to end up losing votes if you don't, change your stance and do something like this. And that apparently made it get very contentious because the administration was not thinking about re-election at that point. They were thinking about, quote, stopping World War III. They didn't put it on Twitter. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.